Hey everyone, this is my innovation project, and just to kind of preface the project, it was interesting the way that it fell with this whole coronavirus. The first half of it I was able to do with my students, and the second half I had to kind of take on my own. So first of all, I did the first part of it with my anatomy class. I teach high school anatomy and physiology, and this was actually perfect because we had just finished up our skeletal and muscular system unit. So I was like, this is great. This is going to be our final project. So we did a little bit of research, and this is what we came up with. So I almost presented it as a case study with my students. So we looked up, what is AMC, as did, I'm sure, everybody else. And so it loosely translates to lots of crooked joints at birth. So, the fixed joints, it's developing before birth, so it's prenatal. It's going to affect the range of motion in the arms and legs, and those joints are usually in a fixed position, like the shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, hips, knees, ankles, all of those joints. It's also accompanied by an overgrowth of fibrous tissue, which kind of makes those joints stay in a fixed position. So once I gave the case study to the students, we started brainstorming. And so I have my kids in like 6 pods, and so each pod was going to brainstorm. There were 4 kids, 3 to 4 kids in each group. And so this goes along with Messler chapter 31, the whole brainstorming. We did it, I gave them a choice. They could pull out a piece of paper or they could go on their iPads and just kind of like jot things down. So it was just kind of presented as, just as we were presented with the problem. This is AMC, this is what it is, and I need you guys to, think of one thing that they might have a problem with, and, how can you help them? And so they just went through and they were either doing concept maps or just drawing things or writing things down. We did watch these 2 YouTube videos right here. I do have them in a link right here. I'm not going to play them for you, but I can share those links out. And that was just like a couple people that were, talking about anywhere from little kids to adults even, that were talking about life with AMC, and it was really interesting about how some of them actually, cope with it. Even without a lot of the, things that we're innovating, they just kind of find ways to cope. So here's a little bit more brainstorming. Like I said, I had 6 pods, so there were 3 on the previous slide, and then here's 3 more. And a lot of the brainstorming ideas had to do with the ease of writing and being able to eat by themselves and just generally picking up and grasping items, typing, walking, going up and down stairs. Those were a lot of the ideas that the kids were coming up with. So there's their sketches. So there's the 6 there. Some of them are much more detailed than others, as you can see, and some of them, have words next to them and are explaining what they are going through. This particular group right here, one of the students actually works in a nursing home, and so she was like, hey, a lot of the patients there that have arthritis, these are the kinds of things that they are getting to help them with being able to feed themselves. And so I was like, oh, hey, that's very interesting. It's not the same, it's not the AMC, but it's still a form of arthritis. And so because we had 6 different ideas, we kind of had to, put our heads together and turn it into one thing that we were going to eventually go with for our idea. So what we decided on was a lot of their ideas had to do with being able to hold something, being able to write, or being able to at least grasp something so that they could, because they can't really grasp with their hands very easily. So we were thinking about, well, let me backtrack a little bit. We did a little bit of research on that, and we came across, just as somebody else I think was doing something about painting, this guy right here is an artist that paints with his mouth, and we were like, well, that might hurt their teeth a little bit. It's not always that easy, if somebody doesn't have perfectly straight teeth, it might not be very easy for them to grab onto a utensil. It might actually damage their teeth. I don't know if it would chip their teeth at all. It's not that sanitary because, if somebody comes over and and touches that, and then you're putting that in your mouth. So we were like, hey, what if we come up with a mouthpiece that they can use to hold these utensils? They can use it for writing, they can use it for painting. In one of the videos, there was even a guy that was holding a knife with his mouth and was chopping food. And so we were thinking, well, it's going to help them to grip the utensil more easily rather than just in their teeth. It's going to protect their teeth from damage. If we have a mouthpiece, we could mold it to each individual, and as they grow, they can remold it. It's more sanitary for the person. And we were also thinking, rather than just having a mouthpiece, to have some sort of clip that attaches to it to be able to hold on to that object. So we kind of put our heads together, and we came up with these type of ideas that we wanted to try. And so we did a couple more sketches here. And so this was just on our one idea that we wanted to go forward with. And so we were thinking, okay, well, some sort of mouthpiece, kind of like a mouth guard. You know, maybe we can put a notch in it and the utensil will sit right in there. Or maybe we could put that clip to it and then it could actually hold on to the piece. Or maybe just attach something that's curved and put that, right on the edge of the mouthpiece, and possibly have a top and a bottom, maybe just a top. So that's kind of what we put our heads together with. And this was the point where the coronavirus happened, school got closed, so I ran with their ideas with what I had at home. So I gathered some materials. I gathered 2 different mouthpieces. The one on the left was actually my sports mouth guard. It's already molded, kind of chewed a little bit, from when I played rugby at Millersville in my undergrad. This one right here is a dental mouth guard, like for people who grind their teeth. This one isn't molded yet. And then I went through and I found a bunch of clips. I found a wooden clothespin. I found a little mini clothespin, a small binder clip, and this is like a clip off of like an ID badge that you would clip to your shirt. And so I did a little testing. And I did a little model testing, and I did a little trial and error. Well, the first thing is this mini clothespin was not quite big enough. As cute as it is, it's not big enough to grab anything. So I just kind of nixed that right away. With the binder clips, the small one was, again, really small. I couldn't even grab a pencil. The medium binder clip was a little bit better. But it was really hard to like bite down on and open. The ID badge, same thing. It could hold onto a pencil, but it was really hard to bite down and open. The clothespin, at first, I actually thought, I'm like, oh, this is going to be obnoxious. It's really long and it's not going to work well. It actually worked really well because it was easy to bite down on to open. Plus, you could actually see the end and you could see yourself grabbing onto the utensil. So, the winner was the clothespin. I found that one to be the easiest, as well as the dental mouthguard. It wasn't as bulky as the sports mouthguard was. So this right here, this is a video of me actually trying it. So that's the piece I had. So I went to put it in my mouth. I tried not to use my thumbs because that's exactly how they would use it. And then I grabbed onto his little Sharpie pen and I tried to write my name. I've never tried to write with my mouth before, so it's a little sloppy, but it worked. And what I also did was on the end of the clothespin, you can see here I kind of carved out a little bit of a curved area, and that actually helped to hold on to the pen or the marker a little bit better. And so, why didn't I use the others? Again, going through a little bit of trial and error. The mini clothespin, the small binder clip, they couldn't grab the writing utensil. So I was trying to grab either a pen or a colored pencil. Now, it could grab something that's smaller, so it's not out of the question. Maybe like a thinner paintbrush or something like that. The medium binder clip and the ID badge were really hard to open. I felt like I was going to hurt my teeth trying to open it, so I just kind of nixed those. The marker and the pen worked better than the colored pencil just because of the force that you have to put down. So, we could do something with how it's attached or, somehow I guess that could be modified. And the mouthguard was a little too bulky. A little bit of TMI here, but if you've ever worn a mouthguard for a sport before, it's very awkward sometimes. And there was a lot of saliva that occurred while I was trying to manipulate that there. So if it could be something that, wasn't as bulky. So moving forward, I would need something to hold the utensil, and this is actually perfect. Last week, I believe it was Jenna, you had that armband with the paintbrushes. This would work perfectly with what you had. Just saying. This is a little video here where I was trying to grab the pen. I have the mouthpiece, and you'll see it. I had it propped up on a little plastic box, but I went for it, knocked it over, and then I had to go grab it and reset it. So something to hold the utensil a little bit more firmly would be a little bit better. A more streamlined mouthpiece. I was thinking something like similar to Invisalign. It's could still be moldable, which again, this kind of goes with Messler chapter 17 with the properties. So it would need to be made of a material that you could mold and remold, just like you would a mouth guard, as the kid would grow, or maybe they do have braces and they're getting their teeth aligned, or something like that. It needs to be moldable, so it has to be a particular material that would have those properties. And the clothespin at the end maybe have a little bit of like a rubber or a silicone so that it would grab on a little bit better, maybe have like little bumps. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything to really try. I'm limited with what I have here. Something that is antimicrobial, so for the mouth guard itself, when I use mouth guards, I would literally clean it with a denture cleaner, take those little like effervescent tablets and I would clean it. But the clothespin, because it's made of wood and it's very porous, it's going to soak in a lot of saliva and then it's going to start to get a little gross. And for the clip or the whatever is on the end, if it is something that is more universal, again, I was just using it with pens and pencils, that's what I had. So it was easier to grab that, but could it be made in a way that it could grab multiple items, or could we make it interchangeable? I simply used a push pin and I pushed it into the mouthpiece, so it was very easy to interchange the clip on the end. So if we could find something that would grab more than just, something that's round, I think that would be even better. And if you have any questions or comments, I look forward to hearing them. Thanks!